Hey guys, it's time for more toy dinosaurs and monsters. Now this is a really weird one. And some of you guys might dig this and some might think it's a little bit over the top even for this, but take a look at the box. This is the ancient Dark God playset. And this bit of twisted strangeness actually, let me tilt this camera up so we can get a good look at that box without messing up the components I've got set out. This combines Lovecraftian horror with an MPC dinosaur playset. As strange as that seems, that's what we got here. Tilt this way up so we can get a good look at this bit of crazy stuff. And you know, the front of the box there has got the title of the set kind of in twisted flowing font, which sort of harkens to the twisting of reality from the power of the Dark God. There is the image of the Dark God Agrezelh. And there is the werewolf form of one of the Spectral Servants that has a Tyrannosaurus by the throat. There's a terrified caveman in the foreground doing his Jack Kirby look scared and point back thing. And you can tell by this dude's eyes and facial expression, he's terrified, but his sanity is being eroded fairly quickly here. And let's go to the rest of the box. Now there's a little chant, you know, it's kind of a twist on H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu chant. This one is Agrezelh Fatagan Ai Ai. And originally with the Lovecraft it was Cthulhu Fatagan Ia Ia. But you know, change it up a little bit. There's a listing of contents. Agrezelh Idol, Sacrificial Altar, glow-in-the-dark demonic servants, prehistoric monsters, cavemen, worshippers, and victims. And cave, rocks, trees, playmat. And here's more worship of Agrezelh. All hail, almighty Agrezelh, warp master, world feaster, bringer of blood, pain, ecstasy. And the other side, there's the number of the playset, number 13-666, made and printed in USA, standard MPC jargon there. And there's some dino footprints leading up to more MPC jargon. 1972, Multiple Products Incorporated, Bronx 62, New York. And there's a really strange version of the MPC branding. Multiple toy makers. It's kind of a reality warp with a big eye in the middle of it. The Eye of Agrezelh. The all-seeing. And I had forgotten it had been so long ago. There's where I signed it in 2013. Yeah, I drew the box and put the set together. And I did not do any paperwork for this set. I was thinking about taking a sheet of copy paper, folding it in half, and doing a little, like a pamphlet sort of thing, with a couple of illustrations and a contents list and, you know, an outline of the plot of the playset. I never did get around to that. I still might do it sometime. Who knows? But anyway, let's look at the components of this. Now, we've got 48 MPC dinosaurs. I was trying to stay, you know, in keeping with the standard for the MPC dinosaur playsets, the big ones. They usually had a lot of dinos, sometimes up to 60. But anyway, we got 48 here. We've got 2 of each of the 24 different MPC dinosaurs. We've got 8 of the glow-in-the-dark MPC Weird Monsters. Whole set of those in glow-in-the-dark. We've got 12 MPC cavemen in 2 different colors, the red and the yellow, and they, of course, they're MPC. They got the holes in the bases. And we've got a playmat over here. We've got 6 of the MPC palm trees. Snuck some Marks pieces in here too. 4 of the Marks dead trees. We've got some terrain here. Here's the standard MPC cave with a little post that you can put the cavemen on and they stay. And we've got standard MPC mountain section in kind of an unusual color. These were usually, that's even got like a hang, like a little charm loop thing there. But anyway, yeah, these came in brown in some of the play sets, like the King Kong Jungle set. This came in the brown. And in the MPC dinosaur play sets, it came in metallic blue. This weird blue marble with white color, I don't know. I think maybe the Planet of the Apes play sets by MPC in the 70s. I don't know. Anybody that knows can chime in there in the credits. I'd appreciate it. Here's one of the rock arches. And of course, this is standard. This mountain section from MPC always came with the 2 rock arches that you could, you know, put together and put up against the mountain there and make kind of, here's the little slot and the tab that they connect with. Make kind of an evocative sort of, you know, terrain section out of that. And here are 3 unique rocks for the set. And of course, this fictitious set, you know, in the background for it was supposed to have come out in 1972. It's marked 1972, multiple products on the box. And that, of course, is totally fictitious because I created the thing in 2013. That's just part of the background for the custom set. Now we get into the unique pieces. This is the sacrificial altar. And it's on a pile of skulls. And those skulls are fairly close to the scale, you know, with the cavemen. Pretty close. And we've got the idol of Agrezelh here. Made from super sculpey and painted. And it's on a wooden base, but it's made to... yeah, this was made by a guy named Gary Ray. It's signed on the back of it there, Ray, starting with W. But, you know, he has made a lot of these little monster statues out of super sculpey, and I bought a few of them, and I thought this one fit well with the set, so I designed the look of the Dark God Agrezelh around that little totem there. So anyway, what we're going to do is go through the sculpts for those not familiar with some of these MPC dinosaurs. Here's the Brontosaurus. Of course, he's a little different from the marks. By and large, these MPC dinos are smaller and skinnier than the marks, and sometimes they have like hollow bellies in case of the moss chops and stuff to save plastic. But this one's head is not rounded like the marks Brontosaurus. It actually looks more like an Apatosaurus head, which that's the current version of the Brontosaurus. Changed them to Apatosaurus. And these are in a variety of colors. And here is the MPC T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus. And of course, just like the marks, you know, these things had the names on the tail, along with the links and all that. Most of you guys know all this because you played with them when you were kids, and you're well familiar with MPC dinosaurs. I did a video on MPC dinosaurs that goes into depth on these things. Here's the Allosaurus. You guys can look that up on my channel. And also, that is in the playlist I have for dinosaur playsets, which you probably should check out if you're into this stuff. You'll get a kick out of some of those, and also some information, because I go into detail about contents and such. And that can help you to complete your own sets, if that's what you're going for. Otherwise, they're just, you know, fun to watch and reminisce about from when you played with this stuff as a kid. There's the Chronosaurus. It's just a smaller version of the Marx Chronosaurus. And here we have the Stegosaurus. There again, smaller version, Marx Stegosaurus. You know, in the 60s, mid-60s, when I was really into all this stuff, there wasn't a whole lot of Marx product in stores. It was mostly MPC. So they kind of filled that void when Marx laid off of things until 1971, when they came out with the most common dinosaur playset, that 3398 from 1971. And I did a video on that too, if you want to check that out. Just check out that whole playlist and you can get dinosaured out, man. And it keeps growing all the time. This one's going into it, you know, and every video I do that has to do with toy dinosaurs is probably going to go into that playset. I mean, that playlist about dinosaur playsets. Here's the Pteranodon. That was Dimetrodon. And, yeah, I had to cram these things in here kind of tight because there's only so much room on this table. I wanted to get it all into the shot, you know. There's a lot of dinos here. Wait till you see how crowded it is when I get it set up. It's a crowded little playset, but that's the way MPC did things. And this is, you know, kind of an homage to the MPC Dino playsets, in addition to being a monster playset with the Lovecraftian horror angle. Now that Agrezelh Dark God character, I just made that up. That has nothing to do with the Cthulhu mythos or any of that stuff. So it's just in that vein, you know. It's just kind of an homage to Cthulhu mythos. So here I'm combining my love for Lovecraftian horror at the same time with my love for MPC dinosaurs and the playsets they made. These diatrimas don't want to stand up too good, so I laid these two down for this part of it, but I'll find a way to stand those boogers up when I set this thing up. They will be standing properly and representing. Here's the Parasaurolophus. And that sloth was a Megatherium there. I don't think I mentioned, but most of you guys know that already. Here's the Macrauchenia. Now, this is one of the unique MPC prehistoric animals. So was the Diatrima and the dire wolf. These that I showed at first here, I was probably running my mouth and didn't mention. This is dire wolf. And I use several of these in one of my other custom play sets called the Haunted Graveyard. Haunted Graveyard playset. You can check that out too. That's in my Monster Toys playlist. And I made a couple of videos on that. Those were the first two videos I made on my channel about 5 weeks ago. So I'm really new at this, but I'm trying to get all this stuff down because I got a lot of stuff to show. This is Moss Chops. This is a pretty good representation of the original marks. It's got a hollow belly, though. They did that to save on the plastic at MPC. MPC was kind of like a bargain version of marks, but like I said, in the early to mid 60s, they had the market pretty much cornered on this stuff. This is Styracosaurus. And you saw a lot more MPC dinosaurs in stores than you did marks. There were a few that turned up of marks kind of left over, you know, from earlier days. Some of the square box sets. As a matter of fact, my mom bought my original square box set, which is probably a 3394. This is a Struthiomimus. In around, I want to say 1963, maybe 1964. This is the Serratogallus. It's like a giant rat. Now, I used some of these Serratogallus in that monster playset as well, the Haunted Graveyard playset, along with the direwolves. You know, they were called up by the vampire in that set. But anyway, that pretty much covers, well, let me show you some of this other stuff real quick here. Here's the, now this is not MPC, this is actually marks. These are dead trees, but they're very fitting to use in a set like this because it's got that bleak Lovecraftian ambiance. So I wanted to stick a bunch of them in there. There are 4. And there are 6 of these MPC palm trees, which are like little skinny, cheap versions of the marks, but they've got the posts there that you can put the cavemen over. Stick that up through the hole in the caveman's base, and they stay put. There's 6 of those. Here are the MPC cavemen. There are only 3 poses of these guys. And they're taken directly from 3 poses of the marks. This is the one with the rock over his head. Camera just cannot grasp that. Well, there we go. It's kind of getting in there. Anyway, these are in the red and the yellow, which was common colors for them in the play sets. And I've got a legit MPC Dino playset that I'm going to do a video on at some point. It's just that I've got so much to cover, it's going to take time to get all this stuff out. So stay tuned. Here's the guy walking with the club. He's a pretty good copy of the marks. MPC went for the bright colors, whereas marks went for like earthier, more subdued colors. They were going for that natural look, whereas MPC just, you know, they bloated out, you know. It's a dino party with MPC. And collectors like that, you know. Good variety there. Really makes MPC products stand out, you know, compared to the marks. Here's a guy with the stone axe and the knife in the yellow, and here's some more guys walking with the club in the yellow. Gives you an idea about what those guys look like. Now, well, I'll tell you what. I'll show you the MPC monster sculpts. These are in the glow in the dark. Now, in this playset, these monsters are called Spectral Servants, and they are created by Dark God Agrezelh, and control of these things, or very temporary control, and maybe dangerous control that's going to wear off and get you killed, is given to the shaman that worships Agrezelh at that idol and sacrifices some of his brethren on that sacrificial altar there to Agrezelh, you know. Got to give those gods their blood, you know. And these things are called Spectral Servants, and they are energy manifestations that are in the image of beings of terror pulled from the minds of Agrezelh worshippers from throughout the dimensions and different times. There's the witch. And these things are giants, you know. They tower above the cavemen. They're as big as some of the dinosaurs, and they have great power. They can be destroyed, you know, but it would take some pretty big power to destroy one of these things, and it's just an energy manifestation from the Dark God, so he can just recreate them anytime he wanted to. And most of the dinosaurs don't have the juice to take one of these things out, but, you know, a T-Rex maybe, or especially if some of the dinos ganged up, like a couple of Triceratops or maybe a family of T-Rex, they could probably take one of these things out but get hurt really bad in the process. And, you know, I'm going into some some weird detail on this. And some of you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but hey, this is the kind of crap that runs through my brain. So, like it or not, it's there. So I'm getting it out. It's good therapy, you know. I grew up with all this junk, and my brain wants to create its own version of this stuff. So I do these custom play sets sometimes. There's the mummy. Of course, you know, probably 12 or 15 foot tall manifestation of these various monsters called Spectral Servants that served the shaman of the Agrezelh worshippers in prehistoric times. And I'm going to set it up for you now. Okay, it's all set up. This is one crowded little playset. 48 dinosaurs, 12 cavemen, 8 monsters. A lot going on here. I'm going to do a fly around for you here in just a second after this kind of settles in. Of course, you can't see some of the stuff on the periphery, but you will here in just a second. And basically, the cavemen are divided up into a couple tribes there, which I usually do in these setups by color. And over in the left-hand corner over there, we have the idol of Agrezelh with the sacrificial altar and some business going on over there. It looks like either Agrezelh just materialized these spectral servants, or one of the shaman called them up, you know, had summoned them after a sacrifice, and there is a sacrifice currently going on. One of the spectral servants, the executioner, is getting ready to lay the smack down on that poor caveman. It's one of those guys, you know, the rock droppers, but I've just got him laying down there to signify that he's bound to that altar. So, you know, it's bloodletting on a grand scale, just one sacrifice after another, right? All right, we're going to take the camera, and this time it's not a pteranodon's eye view, it's the eye of Agrezelh's eye view as we soar around and check out the details of this carnage and craziness. And there's a, you know, this playmat's pretty nice. It's got a nice river running through it there. And the more aquatic-minded dinos are enjoying the water. And, you know, I try to group them in something that makes a little bit of sense anyway. Going in pairs a lot of times, because there are 2 of each of the MPC dinosaurs in this set. And there's, hey, I told you I'd get that guy to stand up. diatrima there. And there's a couple of Megatherium there looking for palm leaves, and Chronosaurus and Brontosaurus and Parasaurolophus in the river. Likewise, downstream we've got another Chronosaurus and more of the aquatic type dinosaurs. And a couple of woolly mammoths. They're coming through the pass there, the Rock Arch Pass. Pteranodons perched overhead. One of those sneaky little Ceratogallus climbed up on that ledge there, hoping to get the drop on something. And some dinos hiding in the foliage there. Not really, but you know. Not really hiding, but symbolically hiding because of the way the playmat is constructed. And there's an Allosaurus and a Styracosaurus getting ready to lock up with him. And the Allosaurus probably is going to get some trouble from that Ankylosaurus as well. There's the yellow cavemen having disagreement with a Smilodon that's probably just trying to get the heck out of there because of that crazy ass ritual going on over there with that sacrificial altar. And in the center of it all, guess what? It's the trope. It's the Tyrannosaurus against the Triceratops pair. You got a Styracosaurus that's coming up behind him there just to add to his problems. And, you know, just some random prehistoric animals tossed about. And these that are close to the action over here are kind of going a little bit nuts. This diatrima doesn't know what to think. He might be losing his sanity, what little he had. And same thing for the moss chops. He kind of climbed up on this to get a better look at all that twisted horror over there. No doubt reality is being altered. And this kind of mimics, on the box there, you see the werewolf spectral creature with a T-Rex by the throat. And likewise, that's getting ready to happen here. And these poor cavemen live in a bad neighborhood. Next to that altar over there, one of their fellows is going under the knife right now. And still they're dropping rocks on ankylosaurs and generally causing trouble. They're probably insane by now too, with the close proximity of all of this sanity-altering Lovecraftian horror going on over here. There's the idol of Agrezelh. And we've got all 8 of the Spectral Servants in play here. And they might be going out for some sort of a big raid later, bidden by whichever one of the red tribe shaman that summoned them up through the power of Agrezelh, maybe to attack the home of these yellow guys. Who knows? All kind of nasty stuff going on. And we're going to take another little look from the air as the eye of Agrezelh flies around. And we take one last look at the box. Okay. So, that will pretty much do it for this video, and this one will go in my dinosaur playsets playlist, as well as my monster toys playlist, as well as my custom playsets playlist. So hopefully you guys get a kick out of this craziness, and hang with, because I got more dinosaurs and monsters and various weird stuff coming up. See you later.